Well, today from Harvard Eye, we have Dr. Nikki Stefanidis, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I was saying to her that Harvard Eye has been a great client of ours for, I don't even know how long, at least 10 years.
At least.
And I've met most of the doctors over there, and I don't recall ever meeting you, so it's really nice to have you on.
Thank you.
How long have you been with Harvard Eye?
I'm starting my 18th year at Harvard Eye.
Long time.
This August, I'll start 18 years.
When did Harvard Eye start? Was it about that time?
Oh no, 40 years.
40 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Roger Ohanessian started the practice 40 years ago.
Wow.
Yes.
That I didn't even know.
Yes.
I didn't think it went back that far.
Yes.
And always in this community?
Always, well, this office has been here at least 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great, great facility.
Yes.
It definitely is.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about a subject here, dry eyes. And as I said when I started the news today, I go, there are people who just get it on occasion for obvious reasons, wind and environment, but there's chronic dry eye. And we've all seen kind of the ads, I think over the last 3 years, for the dry eye ads and things like that. And before that, you kind of never heard of that.
Right.
So let's explain to me what a dry eye is. How can you tell if you have something that's just going to last a day or two, or something that's chronic? And I like your gags you're putting in here.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, my colleague found that, and we kind of really laughed about it, because oftentimes our patients use tears many times throughout the day because their
artificial tears.
The artificial tears because their eyes are irritated, and that's a patient who has probably got a little bit more of a chronic situation where they have to use them every day. Myself, I get dry eye occasionally. If the weather changes, that can cause my dry eye. My contact lenses, that can sometimes make my eye a little dry. Different situations that I might be in. But some of the things that we like to ask our patients is, do you think your eyes look healthy? And do your eyes feel healthy? Those two are questions that are patients can answer because they look at themselves all the time in the mirror, or they're observing themselves, and we want to know, when is their vision clearest. Oftentimes patients will wake up in the morning and they'll say, my vision's blurry, my eyes are so red when I wake up in the morning, and those are first signs that you might have a dry eye.
Okay, and that's good to know. If that's something that's ongoing, right?
Yeah.
You wake up every morning and your eyes are red, and not from going out on the town the night
exactly.
before.
No.
There's no other excuse.
Yes, yeah, and there's many reasons why in the morning when they wake up their eyes might be red. Oftentimes the fans are running on the ceiling. They might have a window open.
Especially this time of the year. That's true for our house, definitely.
Yes, yes, and oftentimes patients, when they're sleeping, they think their lids are closed completely, and they may not be.
Okay.
And that can cause a little bit of a dry eye.
Okay, so this is basically why you get dry eyes, right?
Yes. There's several reasons. So one of them is your body may not produce enough tears. Our lacrimal glands are situated right on the outer part. We have one on each side.
Okay.
And that's what actually produces our tears. So some people, their glands are not producing enough tears. But most patients, it's a poor quality of their tear, because our tear has many layers. And yes, it has an outermost oily layer, and when that oily layer does not protect the inner layers, the tears evaporate more quickly, and then they will have a dry eye. So a poor quality tear is the majority of dry eye that we see.
Okay.
And then of course I mentioned about the lid anatomy. If your eyes do not close properly, every time you blink, your tears are distributed over the surface of your eye. So if your eyes are not keeping themselves closed while you're sleeping, or during the day, if they're not coming all the way down and up, maybe only halfway, then we call that an incomplete blink.
What could be the cause of that?
Usually mechanical. The muscles in the lids, as they're aging, can change.
So I can obviously see why that would be a problem.
Yes, and one of the things we talk about is forced blinking, where you actually have to think about your blink. Most times we don't even think about our blink, but patients that have really severe dry eye, we talk to them about forcing their blink.
Okay. All right, who gets dry eye?
Oh, a lot of people get dry eye. These are just a small list here, but big city dwellers, and the reason why we put that on there is because there's more pollution in the big city, and so we think that that's an irritant to the eyes. Certainly people over 50, women have a bigger percentage of dry eye.
Okay.
Women do. Folks with autoimmune disease, it's like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, patients that are diabetic, people that use the digital devices. We have so many iPads and iPhones and Android devices that people are reading all the time. If they're waiting for an appointment, they're
That's
reading.
true.
And so digital device users, they tend not to blink as much. When they don't blink, they don't distribute the tears.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, those who have eye surgery.
Surgery.
You know, you mentioned autoimmune disease. Quite interesting. My sister, who is, I don't know how old she is now. She wouldn't want me to say anyway, but in her mid-60s. And I don't know, about 10 years ago, she started getting dry eye. Really irritating. It turns out she had Sjogren's.
Oh yes, very big.
But that was the very first symptoms. And of course, Sjogren's is related to RA and lupus, so she's got a little bit of everything. That was the first thing that she noticed. My eyes are dry and itchy all the time.
Yeah, before they even diagnosed her Sjogren's.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you can see it affects about 25 million people in the United States, so it's a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, you were talking about some of the symptoms, and you put down here one of the symptoms, wet eyes?
Yes, yeah, people.
Wow.
Yes, oftentimes people come in and they say, my eyes are tearing all day long, and I'm having to jab at them, or they're dripping.
Okay.
And the reason why and that seems like an oxymoron, but what happens is when the surface of your eye is dry, the nerves will signal the gland.
So it's overcompensating.
Overcompensating.
Okay, interesting.
Yes, and for some people that's a big deal, a lot of wet eye. Some people, they'll say, no, I don't have any wet eye, but they'll have all those other things.
Right, gritty, stinging, burning. Right.
Blurred vision, big one, especially in the morning. Red eyes, itchy. Their eyes often feel tired, they feel heavy, just general fatigue from the eye.
Okay, and you know, when I see these symptoms again, these are certainly common symptoms we all get for a variety of reasons on occasionally.
Yeah.
Maybe I was working out in the yard.
Right.
We get the Santa Ana winds, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so some of that dry eye can be allergy, so they kind of go together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how to help your doctor help you.
Okay, so this is that's a good slide. So you want to be as specific as possible when you come in to see us, to tell us exactly when do your eyes bother you, how do they feel, what are you doing, compile a list of all your previous treatments. Because
I think that's great.
Yeah, oftentimes people come in and they've tried, they think everything, but maybe they haven't tried everything.
Okay.
So we want to give them some coaching on what they can do.
Okay, maybe even take notes. And
Absolutely.
you may not at first, if you start waking up with dry eyes or blurry vision, but if you notice it after a few days or a week, you know, start writing down.
Yeah. Yes.
Gee, last week this started and it's continuing.
I have patients tell me all the time, well, I only notice it when I watch TV in the evening. So, you know, they've used their eyes all day, they're probably dried, they're watching that TV, and they're getting a symptom.
Very interesting. Of course, an examination, and these are the things you're testing for?
These are some of the things we test for. Certainly we want to see what your vision is, and again, that can fluctuate. So you can come in the morning and maybe see better, or in the afternoon maybe you're better. So we want to look at that tear film and see how that affects your vision. We do some specialized testing, those are listed there, and they're all ways for us to see what the quality of your tear is and what the quantity of your tears are. Because the quality and the quantity have to be both in the right balance.
Okay, you know, you're testing vision. Is that even for somebody who has normal vision, not having a problem, that if I came in and got my eyes tested in the morning versus the afternoon, I might test slightly different?
You could.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is there a better time, or it's just the person?
I think when you're rested and feel good. And,
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Artificial tears and gels and ointments. I mentioned, you know, that TV ad that you see, and I think that one's for a prescription medication.
Yeah.
But you walk into any Target or any place like that, and there's just all these different types of treatments here over the counter. I've heard that things like get the red out type things is not what you want. But what are good things that people can first maybe pick up over the counter, and should they?
Yes, the artificial lubrications over the counter, the non-prescriptive ones, every company makes a different brand. There's even the off brands, the generics.
Right.
I typically don't recommend a generic. I usually recommend a name brand. I think the quality is better.
Okay.
We usually want them to start with a tier that does not get the red out. So the Visine type products, Visine actually makes a Visine tier.
Right, I've seen that.
Yeah, there's
that one's
Visine
okay.
tiers, there's Visine AC, there's all
Okay.
kinds. But normally we will direct our patients to a particular brand if we feel that our patients are more successful with one brand or another.
Okay.
But it's really patient dependent. So if one brand doesn't work, we try another one.
Okay. Medical grade omega-3s, would this be like a vitamin type thing you're taking?
Yes,
Okay.
I actually take those. We recommend, if your doctor allows you to have an omega-3, because you always want to ask your primary care doctor if you can take an omega-3,
Okay.
2,000 milligrams a day for a severe dry eye.
Okay.
And the medical grade actually is probably a little bit better. So I do have one that I typically recommend, and it's the one that I take, so I think
Okay.
it works well.
All right. Sleep goggles.
Yes, sleep goggles are very effective.
The full goggles or just the, okay.
Sleep goggle, The
Wow.
full goggle, it actually seals around the eye.
Okay.
So if you are hot and you are running that air or your window's open, the sleep goggle may help you.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention there, humidifiers in the room. Just a humidifier to keep the air
Okay.
moist. That could be helpful as well.
All right. And of course, wraparound sunglasses.
Sunglasses. Yes, and we should always be wearing our sunglasses.
Yes, definitely. Warm compress.
Yeah, those are some of the things that we recommend on a regular basis.
Okay.
And warm compresses are something that you really have to be diligent about doing, so it takes effort. And it's simply a warm compress over the eyelids, not hot, just warm.
Okay.
We recommend 5 minutes for twice a day.
All right. Now that's interesting. I would have thought cool compress.
That's more for an allergy. So,
Okay.
yeah, if your eye's more
Put
itchy.
the cucumbers on the eyes.
Yeah, put
right?
the cold compress, yeah.
Okay.
But for a dry eye, what you're doing with the warm compress is you're heating up the oil
Okay.
that are in the lids and bringing the oil to the surface.
Okay, lid scrubs.
Yes, we have many new lid scrub products on the market. And depending on the severity of your dry eye, the reason why we recommend lid scrubs is we're trying to keep the bacteria off the lashes. And yes,
okay.
by keeping the bacteria off the lash, we can improve the tear.
And Johnson's baby shampoo. No
That's
more tears,
Yeah,
right?
no more tears. That's
Of
what
course you
yeah,
want the tears here, but-
yeah, but it's gentle on the eye.
Yeah.
And so that's why we recommend that one.
Okay.
And it's the simplest one to probably find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple others as
Yeah.
well. Are those prescription ones or just over the counter?
Over the counter.
Okay.
OcuSoft. The Avenova is a prescription that we do write a prescription for.
Okay, and then finally, the other, that's another brand there?
Yeah, Claridex is one that we use for a different kind of bacteria on the
Okay.
eye.
And then sodium chloride drops and ointment and steroid drops?
Yes, those are some of the things for severe dry eye that we will recommend to our patients to use at bedtime. Sometimes more than ointments at bedtime only. If you put an ointment in during the day, it makes your vision blurry because of the emulsion of it. But ointments at bedtime, drops during the day.
Okay, and of course, Restasis, this is the one you see the ads for.
Yes, lots of ads for Restasis.
Okay.
It's been around about 10 years now.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this is a prescription.
That
right?
one is a prescription. You know what? It doesn't work for everybody.
Okay.
So, patients come in all the time asking us, should I be taking Restasis? Well, it really depends on your dry eye.
Okay.
And that's up to the doctor's discretion to determine.
Are those drops or ointments?
It's a drop.
It's a drop,
And
okay.
it's twice a day.
And then I've heard of these before, the punctual plug.
Punctal plugs, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what we actually do is we put a little tear plug into the tear ducts.
Uh-huh.
And you have two tear ducts. You have a lower one and an upper one. The tears drain through those tear ducts.
Okay.
80% of our tears drain through the lower tear duct, 20% through the upper.
Okay.
And so what we do is if a surface is really, really dry, we put a tear plug in there. It keeps the tears that you do have on your eye longer.
Okay.
So it's bathing the eye.
And bandaged contact lenses?
For really severe eye, the bandaged contact lenses help protect the surface.
Okay.
And it seems like well, gosh, if I put a contact lens on my eye? Is my eye going to be drier? Or do my tears need to lubricate that contact? But with the advent of so many new materials, the bandage contact can be quite effective.
Okay, and the bandage I think bandage.
Bandage. Well, we call it a bandage contact, but it looks just like a contact lens,
Okay.
acts like a contact lens, and we put it on the eye and it just stays there.
Okay, and you got some other remedies here, LipiFlow, and are these all
Yes.
just other brand names?
Those are all advanced therapies for
Okay.
patients that have severe dry eye and really need some help.
Okay.
Those are all available in the office.
Okay, and finally, as you said,
How to
see
get
your
help,
doctor.
see the
Yeah.
doctor, come and see us. Again, bring everything that you've done, write it down, and any drops that you use, bring them with you as well.
Okay, that's a very good point, because you want to see what
Exactly
they're using.
what
if
they're
it's-
taking.
That way you know
Yeah.
if this is helping them. We got a
Yeah.
little
There's our
graphic
last
at
little,
the end.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you for coming on. Good information,
Oh.
and as you said, keep a record. If you start to notice something, and it's not
Yeah.
just for a day, it's not an obvious thing where the winds are blowing and or you're out doing yard work. But if it keeps going for a few days,
Right.
get your eyes checked.
Right.
Definitely. Good to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Take care. We'll be right back.